up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Multi-Platinum Production Team.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Welcome to the Music Review Live Series. You know, we be getting on mostly every night trying to just review some music from folks submitting. Make sure that you are submitting your music to the link on the screen. We are listening live for the next hour, give or take. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. If it's your first time here, make sure that you like, commenting, or subscribing. We are the producers for your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, Big Pun Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Raekwon the Chef, Jadakiss, Max B, French Montana, Lloyd Banks, and so many others. Getting ready to jump into these songs. We've had a total of over 1,400 submissions, and we're listening to new music every night. And what do we do here on this live series with the music reviews? You know, what are we listening for? We're listening for folks that we could ultimately collab with, looking for new artists, looking for new producers. At the same time, just trying to get folks' music up to speed, right? I'm helping them with their song structure, helping them to get their records with the proper arrangement, etc., etc. Like I said, we've been in this business for a long time, and we've worked with the best of the best. Check the resume, make sure that you understand what's happening. Shout out Max B, French Montana, Coke Wave 3.5, and other out right now, Narcos, Wave Guards. All that stuff is out now, Cosmo Brothers. Make sure y'all go check that out. Featuring production by yours truly. We're about to get into some music. About to start listening to some of this music in the queue. Like I said, it's a first come, first serve. There's quite a few records in the queue. For those who are trying to get listened to live right now, the best bet is to try to skip the line. Like I said, we have over 1,400 submissions. About to just try to listen to this joints. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live, man. Also, if you have any questions as it relates to the music business, make sure you check us out at the Future Producer Society School.com. There I'm teaching the music business. It's free to join. Music publishing, music copyright, everything in between, man. You know what I'm saying? Not only are we producers, but we're former A&Rs, infamous Loud Records, staff music producers, and like I said, we work with the best of the best. You know, most of the artists that we work with is in most people's top 5. You know what I mean? So, shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live stream, man. Make sure y'all checking us out. We about to jump into some more. Jump into some music in just a hot second. Let me see here. Let me see if I want something. I want to load up a new beat here that I want to play. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this. We'll see what we can do with this in a minute. But in any event, go back. Let's do this really quick. For folks who got music, make sure that y'all submit it to the links on the screen. Thanks to all the people that are sharing the live, liking the live. We're about to jump into this first joint called "Boys Just Want to Eat." This is Cyrus. Cyrus, oh boy. Let's see what this sounds like.
Yeah, we talking about snacks, love, and heartbreak today. Let's go! I'm fat and I'm proud, I love it all. Oh wow! Pizza, burgers, fries.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Sounds like some AI music. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. Sounding like something that I'm not really ready for right now. So, you know, we're trying to keep this moving. We're going to keep everything light, keep it pushing. This record is called Low Life.
You don't want to know what's up in my head. You don't want
what's up in my life. You don't wanna know how I roll the dice. Hey little girl, you really look nice. Once upon a time you made me feel alive. Now I heard you've been running for your life, finding another man to stab with a knife. I was your joy, you fed me lies. Girl, you're such a low life. The things you do just to survive. Listen little girl, take my advice. Go home, run for your life. I'm the king, this is my life. Why you gotta act so surprised? Go away, girl, goodbye. You don't know what it's like to get.
Shout out to Ryan the Rebel. You know, like when I listen to some of this stuff, man, like, you know, and it's really no knock to what people are trying to do. I know like a lot of folks are in this thing trying to really figure out what their sound is going to be. Folks are trying to figure out like how they should really, you know, how they should basically be able to express themselves with their art. And like, you know, there are going to be certain levels to this thing, man. And you have to kind of look at where the current state of music is. You have to kind of look at who's the top players. You have to kind of look at, you know, where you think your music is going to land. You know, so when I listen to that stuff, I know it's kind of on a demo type of level. Guys are trying to figure it out because when you listen to it on first listen, you can kind of see that it's not necessarily like on good timing. You know, they're trying to find where their voice is at. You know, the record feels like a little bit like it's not necessarily staying on beat and those type of things that which are important in order to make a record that's really going to stand up against a lot of the competition. You know, so, you know, my advice, this particular record, this Low Life record, is, you know, we have to kind of work on how we want to deliver these songs and making sure that these songs are, one, you know, having standout melodies, and then on another level, making sure that we're kind of staying on beat, and, you know, things like that that really matter in terms of good, strong songwriting and good song structure. You know, thank you for submitting it. You know, we're going to try to listen to this next joint. Let's see what it says. Finally, Winter by Jay.
Down.
If you guys notice, we're 20 seconds in, nothing started yet. We're 30 seconds in. Shout out to Jay on this. This one's called Finally Winter. Some advice for guys that are submitting beats and for the producers that are jumping into this game. Make sure you're checking us out at ourschool.com/Future Producer Society. Future Producer Society. It's on, the link is on the screen. But the main thing with this, man, is like, you know, we're using what we call critical real estate in the beginning of the record. And what I say about that is that if you're trying to play this record, or say you're trying to pitch it to an artist and you want to sell your beat, or you want an artist to jump on your beat, you got about 10 seconds, right? Or maybe 10 to 15 seconds before these folks start skipping your record. So what you have to try to refrain yourself from doing is making these long, elaborate intros. You can't really do that unless you've already worked with the artist. Right, so if you've already worked with the artist, you've already developed a relationship, the artist has already started to record your music, then you can start to kind of expand on making things that got longer intros, things that are a little bit more elaborate. But if you don't have those relationships with those artists, and this is your first time trying to submit these things, you really want to try to get to the beat as fast as possible, right? You want to try to get to the core element of the beat that has the part of the beat that's going to sell the record, which is going to be the hook, right? So in this particular case, this record is basically going on for maybe 20 seconds before anything is actually occurring. Can't have that happen. You just wasted real estate. And then on the next level, when we're using this beat, again, or we're doing stuff on this beat, some of the stuff is a little bit out of mix, I would say. The piano is a little bit too loud, drums are not loud enough. So you have to really start working on your mixings to make sure that everything is banging the way it needs to bang. The one thing that I do like on this is that he has a space where he kind of pulls out the instruments, pause, so that there's space for the rapper. And this is smart because you want to make sure that you have a clearly defined hook. And you want to have a clearly defined verses. So you want to make sure that those areas for the artist to rap and there's areas for the artist to sing for their vocal performance. And you have to make sure that people can tell what parts are the hook and which parts are the verses. Shout out to Jay on that beat, man. Thank you for submitting that. This joint is called, what's this called? Reggae Club. Hold on 7 minutes. This joint is called Reggae Club by Mafa. I'll take a listen to it. Shout out to Mafex. This is a Reggae Club. Joint sounding pretty loud, hitting a little hard on that, kind of like a club joint. I guess he's saying it's reggae, but it doesn't really feel like that. It's, kind of feel like it's a little bit more something, a little bit more dance related, but it is what it is. I think what I would probably say on that one is just really try to make sure that we're paying attention. Let's really pay attention to how the song is arranged or how the beat is arranged. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does seem like it's kind of going in a particular fashion. We just want to make sure that we have like clearly outlined places where it's supposed to loop and repeat so that we have like a really good replay value on that. But shout out to them for submitting on this joint. This is Pure Design by who? Kami. Take a listen to this joint. Let's see what it sounds like.
Yeah, I do. 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 Yeah, I do.
Shout out Born Ready. Thank you for your role.
I do. Yeah.
I just told you motherfuckers don't get it.
कल्चर बजे मेरे लोड़े पे बेंचो कल्चर नहीं भरता है मेरे इस बैंक को कल्चर से काफी बड़ा हूँ मैं सेक्सी कल्चर ने नहीं दिए कपड़े फैंसी मेहनत की खुशबू इस बदन में महकती पैसे ने मुझको बना दिया हैंडसम या मुझे पैसा बना रहा है लालची आलस का मारा मैं बैठूं तो बैंगर्स पे बैंगर मैं दूं गाने लगूं तो एरिका बटू संगीत बनाऊं तो लहरी का सपूत कैसे मिटाओगे कामी का वजूद आओ रोको मेरी बातें चल रही है लोकल्स में पुन फाड़ने को काफी है वोकल्स आगे कान में कहीं तेरी बेबो बड़ा पे दस्तखत मुझे दे दो माथे पे लगा रही है टीका छाती पे छपा रही है फोटो मेरे नाम की मेहंदी हाथों पे लेकिन उससे दूर हूँ मैं कोसों मेरी
Yo, which language is that? Does anybody know?
मेरी बातें करे अपने दोस्तों से क्यों रहता है वो काफी लो की अभी जाने भी दो जरा ओफो कहे नगमा तुम मेरा सुनोगी और जो भी होता है होने दे मडोना की बहन पटोला सी लगती है 16 की डैम सोना भी पहने चमकती है मैं चौन चाहे हालत बदतर आदेश तुम्हें मालिक बनकर आशिक तेरे काफी जाना साजिश चले तेरे खातिर वापस मिले तो बदलाना आपकी जिस्म माजिश जाना बीड़ी जला के पी लूं मैं चल के रखो चाहे जमाना
Shit, shit, I wanna lick shit, shit, my heart on wick, shit, shit, I wanna lick shit, shit.
Switch up.
It's pure design, it's pure design, it's pure design, it's pure design. बदन तेरा संभालना मेरे बातों की करो तुम पालना मेरे तन को लगी तेरी आदत मेरे पीछे पड़ा मेरा karma मेरे मन में छपी तेरी आंखें तेरा बालों का ऐसे संभालना calma.
If I ever give a fuck, I'm going batshit. Last year I was just lacking. इस सालों का सब यहाँ massive. Designer flow wordplay matching. मेरी जेबें भर रही कैसे ये सोचे समझे या कैसे I keep them all in the back end. Got bitches texting me in Latin. Back in the shit and I'm coming or going and like it's a bore and I keep on ignoring shit. I'm still on my phone, bitch leave me alone. ये समझे ना please. I get what I want, you get what I own. I give it a life, I keep it alive. Yeah. I keep it alive, आजकल I'm so phony जब मेरे fake लोग who don't know me I'm busy living this lifestyle असली पैसा बस मेरा homie and I'm like that So many different emotions, I can't even control them So many different emotions, I can't even control them Yeah, I'm like that, जानू plenty hoes, I won't like that Go में cypher से लेके mic stand, I was pretty chill Boom wise man, सीखा गलतियों से now I'm right back With the high pass, जब बोलूं high board, वो करे high back जानू कितने करे मुझे bite back I don't mind that, yeah, international life hack
Yo, this joint got a decent, like, it got like a decent, like, arrangement in terms of, like, where the beats changes and everything switches up. Beat is banging. Both beats is actually banging. I think it's really, in my brain, I'm like, yo, that shouldn't be one record. That should be two different records. You know, but I digress. Just trying to really get an idea of what the language barrier is, because I'm not sure exactly what language the first part of it is in. But I was really listening to the cadence, right? Even sometimes if it's like in a different language, you got guys who can study the cadence and who knows how to deliver it in their language, and it's still on target in terms of timing and cadence. And these are the things that stand out. And I know some folks may be like, well, what do you mean? Like, you know, like I hear some other joints that have like language barriers, but you can kind of tell that these guys are not really perfected the flow in terms of knowing how to rap and making sure that their timing is good. And I think this is where, on this particular record, being in a different language, half of it is where it shines. The only thing for me is that I can't really decipher a hook, and I think that needs to be a little bit more prominent, is making sure that there's something that's repeating in it enough for us to kind of catch where the hook is at, and we can't really pin that down. But it's a good record, man. You know, decent record that he put in. This next joint is called Looney by I'm not sure who that is. I gotta check out to see what it is. Shout out everybody jumping into the live. Make sure you're sharing the live, liking the live, hitting them follow buttons, etc., etc.
Men like him would think that. And God is my witness. I would give him a chance to stop, to reconsider,
Bitch
to think about the worst thing that could ever happen to him. To imagine.
Took me some time, but I got back to where I fell off fat. This nigga go, yeah. This nigga go, yeah. This nigga go, this nigga go. Jump on the boat, yeah. Sounds like a flow, yeah. Everything recorded, you put in the dots, yeah. Go ahead with your flock, yeah. Baby can't eat me, don't leave me like this, yeah. Do my nerves, yeah. Find my heart, yeah. Shot been burning, static kitchen.
Yeah, we can't really do that. Listen, this beat is actually ill. I think this is like a a really dope beat, man. My issue is that he got a long intro here, which is probably not 100% necessary in my brain. I think you should really try to get this to start a little bit sooner, because folks like to swipe. Folks are not really listening to all of that in the beginning, especially if you're an unknown or new artist. And then my other issue is like, look, I know folks kind of are fans of like Future, etc., etc., but it's this is not where it is right now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, no lyrics, just kind of, kind of, we're not here. We're kind of moving past this. I'm not sure if you guys are watching the charts. I'm not sure if you guys are watching Billboard. I'm not sure if you were watching the last 2 years in rap music. We're not here anymore, man. It's like, this time is really kind of past, So, while I'm not trying to knock anybody for trying to still do what they're doing, it's like what happens is that if you're finding that you're not really catching the traction that you're not catching, it's because you're not keeping up with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And you're kind of doing something that's already been done and kind of dragged it to the ground. So, my suggestion is really to really kind of like, let's study this craft, man, and let's really try to improve, and let's really try to get beyond, trying to like kind of create music that kind of just, I'm just doing something that's a vibe. And the thing about doing music that's just a vibe, man, is that it doesn't put you in a situation where it's replicatable, right? You're kind of leaning on something that's just kind of happens on happenstance, right? Whereas people who are superior songwriters, people who are superior melody writers, they understand what it takes to make a song with a decent melody, a good arrangement, and they know the structure of making good songs and making hit songs. Hence, that's how you can have people that have long careers. And they're not leaving it up to, hey, I'm just going in the studio and vibe out and see what happens. Like, you might get lucky one time, but then you can't replicate what you did. You don't know what you did. You just kind of went in the studio and kind of wang it, or winged it, pause. You don't know what you did to get to the music that you got to. So, it's not replicatable. It's not sustainable. And this is why you see guys just fall off the cliff. It's because they never had a songwriting process, right? They never had a process of what it takes to write melodies, to write good songs, to write with good lyrics. Like, there's no process to it. So because there's no process to it, you can't replicate it. And because that, you can't have any real quote unquote longevity, man. And I'm telling you guys, I have been here from, I hate to say it, but I've been here from the 90s, right? I've been here from the 90s. I've been here to the 2000s. We've gone through the trap era. I'm still here, right? We still working with the top artists, French Montana, this guy, that guy, Wiz Khalifa. We still working, right? And I'm just telling you what it is. It's like you got to be in this situation and you got to look at it is for what it is. Is that the people that are able to maintain themselves here, they understand what it takes to put together good songs. If you don't understand that, well, this is what this forum is for. This forum is for that. It's for when I'm listening to people's songs, I'm telling people, hey, this might need to be arranged a little bit better. Maybe we need to work on this melody better. Maybe we need to improve where the beat is supporting the hook, or, I'm making those kind of suggestions. Shit, in some cases, I'm helping guys produce their records, right? But the way that we're doing this is we're making it into a learning opportunity, not just for the people who are submitting, but for the people that are also watching, right? So it's another thing for us to, just listen to the music, but we got to also learn from what other people are doing, and we have to make sure that we're trying to improve our music, man. This is why a lot of the stuff that we're hearing now sounds like total shit, is because everybody's kind of like, well, I'm just going to do me, but nobody is really learning and really analyzing what the last person did and how the last person did it, not so that we're trying to replicate it, but so that we can understand what they did, so that we can take portions of things that they did, put it into our arsenal, right? Because we're learning from it. You're not necessarily trying to take anybody's music per se, but if you don't listen to, how can you understand harmonies if you don't listen to harmonies? How can you understand good song structure and good melodies if you don't listen to people who got good structure and good songs? Like, you can't learn it if you ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of us are just too caught up in, hey, I'm just going to do me. I don't listen to anybody else's music. Well, how the fuck are you supposed to learn? Like, I don't understand that shit. That shit doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you don't listen to great artists before you, how do you expect your music to be as good or better than the people that came before you? Like, somebody tell me in the chat, man. Tell me if I'm tripping. So hit chat, tell me if I'm tripping or not, right? Make sure that we're liking and sharing the live, man. That's what we're doing here. We're not doing that other bullshit that other people is doing. And, you know, we're not talking the other stuff that other people are talking. We're not doing none of that. We're trying to make sure people's music is really getting better. Like, that's really the catch here. That's where we're trying to make things happen on this side. All right? We're going to get into this next joint called Metro Cardi. So I'm listening to this, man, and it sounds like somebody found a decent loop, but from the percussion standpoint, you know, probably not sure what they should be doing on this, right? So I think this is one of those times where, you know, somebody gets a loop and they get a little bit excited and they're like, okay, we're going to make it, you know, I'm going to add this sound here and I'm going to add that sound here, but it's not necessarily making it into something that's kind of like, it's not making it into a song that's going to be able to really take it somewhere with somebody who's going to be able to listen to this and be like, all right, I'm going to be able to add some lyrics onto this or do something with it, right? Because you have some sounds that's still kind of off in terms of the drums, in terms of the timing, etc. So, but this goes back to what I'm talking about from before. It's like when you are making your music, like, who is it intended for? Like, I think that is probably like the number one question that I would tell folks who are making if you're making beats, if you're a producer and you're out here and you're making beats, right? Well, who is your ideal client? If you're thinking about it from the inception of when you start, and when you sit down at the board, it's like, okay, who would I like to make music for today, right? And a lot of times when I'm jumping into the booth, or when I'm not into the booth, but when I'm jumping in onto the lab, and I'm here and I got my MPC, right? I got
Arkatech Beatz.
I got my MPC in front of me, whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, I always start with an idea, and I hear something with as far as like a sample or something like that, and I'm like, okay, who can this sound good on? And a lot of times when I'm listening to who I think it should sound good for, it's going to be based off of the tempo and the key. Certain tempos might work for Jadakiss. Certain tempos might work for Fabulous. Certain tempos might work for Lloyd Banks. Certain tempos might work better, right, for Max B, right? It just depends on what the tempos are. It depends on what the vibe of the instrumentation that I'm starting to play with. And then I start to build my record. But I build my records with some intention of saying, okay, where do I think this is going to land, right? And this requires you to study the people's music that you want to get on your music, right? You can't create something if you don't understand how that artist raps or how that artist hits their music. You have to understand the spectrum of which they like to rap on. So when guys are programming their beats and they're doing stuff like that, it's like, listen, you have to kind of pay attention to who your target is. If you're trying to make something for Drake, you know Drake is going to do certain things on certain beats, right? Like, he's not going to be on a beat that's going to have this kind of percussion that has this snare that's landing late like this, right? You have to kind of use your common sense and say, okay, you know, if I was to take this music and I was to give it to, you know, a person that's related to, you know, a Drake or whoever that might be, you know, is it something that he can actually listen to? Will it actually make sense? You know, but You can't be delusional. Don't get me wrong. Now you can be confident, but you can't be delusional. You got to kind of have that understanding, like, yo, what needs to be worked on. So in this particular case, with this beat, it's like I would just like to hear it. I would like to hear something that has a little bit better beat to it, right? It's like he got the loop going pretty good, but now the beat is kind of just not like really where it needs to be. And I tell guys, if you're not really good at programming just yet, don't be afraid of using drum loops. Like, don't be afraid of that. That helps you to understand how to program drums. Like, that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, with my first couple of records, we used drum loops, and then we started to reprogram them drum loops, right? Because we use those drum loops as placeholders, and then we were able to kind of grow from those loops. And this is what a lot of producers did early in the late 90s, etc. These guys used break beats. They used all types of stuff that they were getting from soul records, James Brown stuff. They were taking break beats. They were jumping them into the drum machines. In some cases, they were able to reprogram them. In some cases, they just ran them straight. But you have to learn, you have to learn these cadences. You have to learn these rhythms, and you got to learn from something. You just can't, you can't try to wing it like these guys be trying to wing it all the time. And in this day and age, I don't see any point in doing that. You're just really wasting time. So you can get your music faster up to speed if you're using the tools that are in front of you. But thank you for submitting. I got another joint here called Escape.
Red Roses.
Oh, never again. Oh, never again. Oh, never again. I wonder if I'll be okay. I'm not okay. I'm just another soul to take. I got too high. Baby, this is my life. I ain't trying to come down from this high. Yeah, I've been so low, so I gotta get high. Yeah, it took too many perks that I might touch the sky. It's an ongoing thing that I just can't break. Don't take my drugs away, cause they're my escape. I don't need them anyway, but without them I don't know if I lose my way. It's like I'm lost inside a town where I can't show my face. I'm a fucking disgrace, no one wants me anyway. No one wants me anyway. I just always get in the way. I don't need no help, I just lost myself. It's like I'm lost inside this hell. Lost inside this hell with no story to tell.
Red Roses.
I wonder if I'll be okay. I'm just another soul to take. I got too high. Baby, this is my life. I ain't trying to come down from this high. Yeah, I've been so low, so I gotta get high. Yeah, it took too many perks that I might touch the sky. It's an ongoing thing that I just can't break. Don't take my drugs away, cause they're my escape. That's a
At first I was trying to see where he was going with it, and I when I started listening to it a little bit more, I'm like, okay, there is something here. I think with this hook, could be better if we just use the last 4 bars.
no story to tell.
Red Roses.
Listen to
I
it.
wonder if I'll be okay. I'm just another soul to take. I got too high. Baby, this is my life. I ain't trying to come down from this high. Yeah, I've been so low, so I gotta get high. Yeah, it took too many perks that I might touch the sky. It's an ongoing thing that I just can't break. Don't take my drugs away, cause they're my escape.
And I think that if we use that latter 4 parts of the hook and just repeat that twice and just kind of focus on that's my escape, or how he has that particular line, and because the name of the song is Escape, and just kind of lean on that, I wonder if that would make it pop a little bit more, and have a little bit more replay value. I feel like he could tighten his vocal performance on this one. It's a little bit like, I understand that it's like a laid back flow on it, and it's like, okay, if this is going to be the style, right? Or if this is going to be the way that he intends on making the record, if he intends on making the record to sound like this, and this is how his style is. I would just tell him to lean all the way into it, right? Because I like what he's doing with the effects. I like what he's doing with terms of some of the layering. But we just want to make sure that he's like totally in tune, and we want to make sure that he's totally on good timing. You know what I'm saying? So to make sure that and making sure that he's on it. You know, if he's gonna do it, we want to make sure that he's completely on timing. We want to make sure that he's completely in tune in terms of using auto tune, anything we got to use, and to make sure that he has the perfect types of, you know, in terms of layers, stacks, and ad libs to kind of support what he's doing, especially on the hooks to make the hook sound even bigger. If we did it like that, I think he might have something that he could actually run with, because it has that like that guitar and that thing that, you know, tends to kind of have like a crossover Post Malone type feel. You know what I'm saying? And it feels like it, but doesn't sound like it. You know what I mean? And that's what you guys are really got to aim for. You got to aim for music that feels like something that we remind us of something, but not necessarily sound like that. You know what I mean? So like you got to kind of understand what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with music that is to help us to be able to, you know, easily familiarize ourselves with the songs that we're hearing, right? Because it's like, damn, that reminds me of MJ, right? That reminds me of it, but it doesn't sound like it. This reminds me of an MJ song. And, you know, those kind of constant reminders and things of that nature are what makes that's what makes songs stand out. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm gonna start this here. You know, I kind of like how that's sounding for what it is. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. We'll be on for another few minutes before I jump off. I do have a hard stop at 9. Shout out to my my premier members at the school.com / Future Producer Society. We do have a session, so we're going to be getting into some music business stuff and making sure that folks are getting some information as it relates to, you know, releasing their music and some different tips and things like that. So if you're not already locked in, make sure you're locked in with us at the Future Producer Society / the school.com / Future Producer Society. It is free to join. Link is on the screen if you need it. I'm gonna listen to this one last joint before I get off, and you know, kind of get ready for that call that we have at 9 o'clock. This one is called To the Top. Let's take a listen to this one.
I got a blunt in my mouth, cause I ain't trying, we're about the day right now. If you ain't fucking with me, I'ma show you what you're missing out. Cause I'ma make it to the top, I'ma make it to the top, I'ma make it to the top, I'ma make it to the top. With my brothers and we smoking on straight gas. If we ain't fuck with you, get your lame ass out of here, cause we ain't want your ass, we want money in our bag. Rockin' shit you never had, got you wishing that we take you back. We gon' make it to the top, yeah. 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 We gon' make it to the top. That blood in my mouth, and I ain't worried about none of this thing right now. If you ain't fucking with me, I bet you fucking with.
Yo, shout out to who is this? MF, is that Susk? Susk? I feel like the foundation of a decent hook is kind of laid down here. I'm gonna take it to the top, you know, and just kind of have that be the repeat. I think that's kind of that can work, right? In terms of just making sure that you have it 4 bars and repeat. I think that'll work. But my issue is now when we get to the part where you're going into your verse, it sounds exactly like the hook, right? So now we can't really tell because it's stacked the exact same way. It has the exact same flow as the hook. So that for me is where the issue is. We have to be able to make sure that we know that this part of the song is the hook And this part of the song is basically going to be the verses, etc. So I think if we can kind of get that to stand out, or if we can get those elements to kind of be delineated, I think that we might be okay in terms of, you know, getting a record that's going to work, you know. And it looks like he's only doing 8 bars. So, you know, 8-bar hook, 8-bar verse, 8-bar hook, 8-bar verse. You know, it'll work if you can get it done that way. Just want to sandwich 2 verses between 3 hooks, and I think we would be good. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to him, man, for submitting on this, man. I think that's going to be the last. We got some meetings to go into with our with my group. So if you haven't joined our Future Producer Society, make sure you're doing that. We're, like I said, we're teaching the music business in there, music production inside of there, and we're just giving guys a lot of tips, a lot of gems, a lot of things going on, letting you know what's happening in real time. Remember, we're working with real artists in real time. I'm giving guys real case studies, giving guys real updates so they can see what's really going on in the music business for real, no bullshit. Working with real artists, real music industry checks, real stuff. We're not talking about, you know, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? So, shout out to everybody that jumped into the live. We're about to sign off, and I'm gonna see my folks in the Future Producer Society. I see y'all at school.com. We're gonna get on a live call in. Peace, y'all. What up, man? We about to jump into the call in another few minutes, man. So I'll see you there.